Welcome, you're watching Vox News, your daily news updates with Rita Kamkumo. Our headlines today: Ugandan opposition leader Bobi Wine legally contests the results of the presidential election, officially won by President Yoweri Museveni. South Africa receives its first COVID-19 vaccine doses. President Cyril Ramaphosa insists people will not be forced to get vaccinated. The Tanzanian government promotes alternative remedies, including steam therapy, to fight COVID-19. Our top story today: lawyers of Ugandan opposition presidential candidate Bobi Wine on Monday filed a legal challenge in the country's Supreme Court, asking for the nullification of President Yoweri Museveni's victory in last month's election. Museveni, in power since 1986, won a sixth term in office with 58% of the vote, whereas Wine officially came second with 34% of votes, according to the Electoral Commission. Although Museveni described the election as the cleanest in the country's post-independence era, Wine, however, claims the election was rigged. Uganda's Supreme Court must now rule on the petition within 45 days. In the Central African Republic, the Supreme Court on Monday cancelled the results of the December 2020 legislative elections in 13 constituencies and ordered a new vote. The Constitutional Court cited irregularities, including the manipulation of ballot boxes and acts of violence, which, according to the court, prevented the sincerity of the vote. The election results in 58 other constituencies remain unclear, as voting did not occur in those areas due to security challenges. The first round of the December 27th legislative and presidential election, officially won by outgoing President Faustin Touadéra, was marked by unrest across the country, mainly controlled by rebel groups. On the health front, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa on Monday announced that his country had passed the peak of its second COVID-19 infection wave, enabling the easing of restrictions ahead of first vaccinations this month.
In fact, the average rate of new infections has been steadily coming down over the last 3 weeks, indicating that we have now passed the peak of the second wave. The hours of the curfew will now be from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. Establishments where people go for either entertainment or otherwise will need to close by 10 p.m. so as to allow their customers and staff to return home by curfew time commencing. The sale of alcohol by licensed premises for on-site consumption, such as restaurants and taverns and places like that, will be permitted throughout the week from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Ramaphosa's announcement came as South Africa received its first shipment of Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines, allowing the country's vaccination program to start. The president, however, insisted that the vaccines will not be made mandatory by the authorities.
It is in the best interests of all that as many of us receive the vaccine as possible. But I want to be clear: nobody will be forced to take this vaccine. I want to repeat, nobody will be forced to take this vaccine. The arrival of these vaccines contains the promise that we can turn the tide on this disease that has caused so much devastation and hardship in our country and across the world.
South Africa, considered the epicenter of COVID-19 on the continent, received 1 million doses of the vaccines produced by the Serum Institute of India. Another 500,000 doses should be delivered to the country by the end of the month. Unlike South Africa and some other African countries, Tanzania is opting for alternative remedies instead of imported vaccines to combat COVID-19. The Tanzanian government on Monday started a nationwide campaign to promote steam therapy to limit the spread of coronavirus. Minister Suleiman Jaffo said the government campaign aims at promoting other possible treatments such as steam inhalation and the consumption of more fruits and vegetables to reduce COVID-19 infections and boost immunity. Minister Jaffo also advised Tanzanian people to eat ginger, garlic, watermelon, oranges and lemons to boost their immune system. Health experts, however, highlighted that such an approach has no scientific basis. On the security front, less than a week after Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari replaced the country's top military commanders, newly appointed defense chiefs visited troops in the northeast city of Maiduguri, determined to step up security efforts in the country.
To have a detailed brief from the tier commander as well as the various component commanders, and to see the changes that we will make in order to ensure that this carnage that Boko Haram have inflicted on the people will come to an end.
For over 10 years, security forces in Nigeria have fought an insurgency by terrorist group Boko Haram that has devastated the northeast, killing at least 36,000 people and displacing over 2 million.
I've attended to security matters within the northeast and especially Borno State, vis-a-vis the actions of our officers and soldiers. Airmen ratings was something that we needed to come to give some refocus of the citizens of Borno and the entire Northeast to give us a chance, give the troops a chance to do what is utmost necessary in order for them to have a fresh breath of life, for them to be able to engage in socio-economic activities.
Enormous challenges await the country's new military chiefs. In addition to a jihadist insurgency in the northeast, Nigeria's military is also fighting the Islamic State in West Africa, a rival jihadist group which recently intensified deadly attacks on army camps. The army is also dealing with communal conflicts in central regions and separatist tensions in the southeast. On the international scene, British authorities on Monday vowed to increase testing in 8 areas across England, where 11 South African COVID-19 variant cases were reportedly detected last week.
We're surging extra testing into the areas where this variant has been found and sequencing every single positive case. Working with local authorities, we're going door to door to test people in the local area. This is a stark reminder that the fight against this virus isn't over yet. Every day we're protecting more people and getting ourselves one step closer to normal life. But this is no time to let things slip.
These cases do not appear linked at the moment. I think they're in quite separate parts of the country, and they're more likely to be related to somebody who potentially had asymptomatic infection when they came in from abroad. We are looking to find extra cases in the community to see if where we can find links and to try and close down and eliminate the transmission between people. 3 of the vaccines that have been used to date in trials have shown that they've been effective against the South African variant at a level greater than was set as the minimum standard by WHO and the US FDA. We expect all other vaccines to have a similar level of effectiveness, particularly in reducing hospitalisation and death.
The areas affected by the highly transmissible variant include parts of London and the South East, the West Midlands, Eastern and North West England, where mobile and door-to-door testing capacity will be rolled out. People not showing COVID-19 symptoms will have the possibility to get tested. On the football scene, Ahmad Ahmad, the former chief of the Confederation of African Football, suspended by FIFA for 5 years in November last year over corruption charges, has recovered his position following a ruling by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. The preliminary ruling came on Friday after both CAF's governing body and FIFA's review committees sat last week to approve candidates' eligibility to run for the presidential post. The 61-year-old, who remains ineligible to stand for re-election in March, intends to appeal his ban at the Court of Arbitration for Sport. The court is set to hear the appeal in full on the 2nd of March and render its decision before the CAF presidential election on the 12th of March. Africa's biggest film festival, which was to take place in Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou, from the 27th of February to the 6th of March, has been postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic. Burkinabe authorities on Friday decided to postpone the long-awaited festival to a later date without indicating when. Government spokesman Ouseni Tamboura admitted that deciding on a new date will be no easy task due to the uncertainty of the pandemic. The internationally respected Pan-African Film Festival, better known by its acronym in French, FESPACO, is usually held every 2 years, showcasing films made by Africans and predominantly produced in Africa. That's it for today. Thank you for watching Vox News.